Hello, the humans of his earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and who you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it to. I'm Bushka, and today I'm going to be having a look at the patch 7.0 beta, which I got a hold of, and I thought I'd hit the highlights. I don't want to really break down all the stuff that I'm not really impressed by, like there's a like button on your avatar screen now, which God knows what that's going to do for you, and you know, there's the ability to give yourself a title, that kind of thing. What I want to talk about is what I consider to be the big picture stuff. For me, that's DMRs, this patch. Now, I made a video a little while ago about the M416 and how it probably needed either a nerf or the game had to be balanced around it some way. And what the boys and girls at TENCENT have done is balance the game around DMRs by kind of not a little bit of a nerf towards ARs and a little bit of a buff towards DMRs across a couple of features. Now, the first and most important thing you're going to find is that DMRs are capable of taking 8x scopes now, while ARs are not capable of taking 8x scopes. And that straight away disincentivizes those of us who used to run around with an M416 on single tap and hit people through the eyeballs at like 300 meters, with little to no recoil. There are also two new scopes. There's a 6x scope and a 3x scope. And the 3x scope is excellent. It's a really big step up for the game as far as I'm concerned. I think it allows you to have a scope that you can both work as a mid-range sniper scope and use in CQC, close quarters combat as well, which is pretty cool and pretty important. The big winners here, though, for me are the DMRs. Now, let's have a look at the SKS, which is really, really cool. And then let's also have a look at the SLR, which is your new designated marksman rifle, your DMR. That's what DMR stands for, in case you're wondering. Now, the SLR is great. I'm going to show you something else cool while we're here. There is an extended quick draw mag for sniper. Great. We'll put that on our AR there. On our DMR, we'll also put the quick draw mag for the AR on the SKS. Don't really want that one. We want the extended mag on the SKS. So you can see by buffing the availability of an extended mag, they've given people more of an incentive to play the DMRs, like the SKS, like the Mini 14, like this SLR here. And by putting the 8x scope out of reach of guns like the M416 and the SKS and the SCAR and the AKM, you're finding that you're going to get a lot more people running these DMRs. And that's really cool because, you know, there should be a little bit more versatility in the game and there should be a little bit more of, you know, interesting weapons. Now, this thing, by the way, the SLR, is absolutely phenomenal. It has a higher damage round than the SKS, but it bears repeating, as I usually do with any kind of vid involving a beta. You can never be certain how things are going to be released. This may be released in a much more watered down format. It may be released in the exact same level it's at now, where I think it's just a beast of a gun, like absolutely phenomenal. It can take a muzzle attachment, it can take a stock, all the standard stuff, exactly like an SKS, but doesn't get the foregrip. So for me, that's a huge thing. The DMR's absolutely bloody massive. You also get a bunch of new grips. Now I don't want to ramble on too much about the grips because I haven't had a chance to test any of these grips. And to be certain, I don't want to just run off the stats that you get on PUBG PC because we can't be certain they're going to be released with the same numbers. But you get like a thumb grip, a half grip, you get a light grip, and then you get all your stock standards, your vert and your angled foregrip as well. These make the guns behave in different manners, but you know what? I'll really get to that at a later date. I don't want to go and get stuck into this. You can put your AR compensator now on the DMRs as well, which is pretty amazing. And even more importantly, you can put an AR suppressor on the DMRs. So you can rock and roll out here and you've got a suppressor. Now, it's a lot easier to find a suppressor for an AR than it is to find a suppressor for a sniper rifle. Likewise, it's very easy to find a compensator for an AR. Why is that so cool? Well, if you can get a compensator, the SKS and the SLR here become much more effective weapons. And you can see I've got a compensator on the SKS there. On the SLR, I'm going to put that on the SKS now. And look at it. It's just a beautiful little thing. And we switch back over to the... You can see what I'm talking about there. So, very, very cool. Very, very cool indeed. Let's have a look. The 6x scope now. It's got a very different graphic, you can see, to the 8x scope. Pretty cool, though, for all that. And it's adjustable down to a 3x. Now, this is probably, in my opinion, the best scope in the game now. It's not because it's the best at long range or the best for CQC. It's because it gives you insane versatility. So you pick up a DMR like an SKS, you can get a suppressor from a, an AR. You've got an AR extended quick draw mag, and then you put a 6x scope on it, and you adjust it down to 3x, and suddenly it's pretty handy in semi-close quarters combat as well. And then if you have to take a long shot, you're perfectly capable of adjusting it back up to 6x. This allows you to swap it really effectively too between guns. I think these scopes are going to be very, very interesting. Now, I'm going to grab a 3x, which is another new scope that's coming into the game in patch 7.0, and have a little bit of a chat about the 3x and why it's a hell of a good addition to the backpack. Like, it really is a phenomenally good rifle accessory. If you put the 3x on, I've got a designator, but anyway, whatever. If you put the 3x on, you can see, I'll try and get a 4x as well, so I can give you some kind of idea on the scope. Get it? On the scope. Yeah, excellent, excellent, excellent. And it'll, let's drop that, grab us a 4x. So this is your 4x scope. Stock standard, 4x scope. Blocks out a lot of the vision that you can see. So at close quarters, the 4x can kind of be tough. Like if you're at 40 meters, or 45, or 50, even 60 meters, this is probably where the 4x is starting to get better. If you switch to the 3x, it's so much easier to deal with. And then that's why I really think the 6x is going to be a killer. A couple of other really, really important things. You can now boost up while driving. You can boost up while driving a vehicle. That, boys and girls, is really cool. And it makes a lot of sense. There's no real reason that you shouldn't be able to boost up while driving a vehicle. In my opinion, anyway. It doesn't make any sense at all to not be able to boost up while driving a vehicle. You're in the passenger seat and all that. So if you're driving, you can't boost. My bad. When you are in the passenger seat while someone's driving, you can boost. The other big thing is war mode. I'll jump out of here and I'll show you. This is the thing that a lot of people are going to go mad for. And I'm just hitting the highlights that I find are really, really important. Like, you're going to be able to get adrenaline syringes as a well drop. That's wonderful. But, I mean, great. But war mode's really cool. Okay, so we go to arcade. You got mini zone, quick match, sniper training, and then you've got war mode. Now, it's going to be set to go off only on particular times. So it's going to be very dependent on what server you're on as to when it's going on. But basically, you respawn an infinite amount of times. You get points for shooting people, all that kind of stuff. And it's just another arcade mode, which is really excellent. You might have noticed there as well when we went to that. First person, you can't do arcade mode yet on this beta. It's something that really annoys me. I'd love to be able to play first person arcade mode, but they just don't include it. I can understand why. It may actually diminish the player pool to the point where you end up with bots in an arcade mode, and that's not cool. They won't have bots in arcade mode. They just want to have war mode. You only get the humans in there. So there's no bots in that. That's actually a pretty important thing to mention. Yeah, that's it, guys. That's really the big stuff for me. You've got a portable closet, hip hip hooray, so you can have multiple sets, just like World of Warcraft or something, where you can have multiple sets of clothes and you choose between them, which is great if you want to be a fashion icon or hit the runway in Pachinki. There's new emotes. The new grips are going to be great, and I'll check those out and I'll do some videos on them as we hit them. But for the most part, it's a DMR patch. Slight nerf to ARs, your M416s and everything won't take 8 times and stuff anymore, but they will get a little bit of a rebate in that because they'll be able to use 6 times scopes. So to be fair, they'll still be pretty effective, but they just won't be as effective as DMRs at that range sniping. And now that you can find and use AR fittings like suppressors and extended magazines, it's going to make it a lot easier to come up with that long range weapon and start getting a little bit au fait and practical with SKSs and SLRs and things. And the SLR is a beast of a gun. Absolute beast of a gun. I can't wait to run that thing. Anyway, boys and girls, I'm Bushka. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel. You can follow me on here. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me down to the shops for a cup of coffee and a slice of bread. I don't care. Just as long as you subscribe, spread the word, be nice to each other. Yeah. And until next time, stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.